Alright, then I believe too. And with that, there's only one thing left to say. Let's rev it up!
Alright guys, welcome back. Okay, so I've been working on this deck for the past week with one of my buddies, Yatin. He's a friend from locals. He messaged me I would like to say like a week ago, a week and a half, 2 weeks, within these past 2 weeks. He messaged me because he wanted I guess like my input on the deck that I tried months ago, where it was Crystron's and paleo, like with frogs. So pretty much it was totally Crystron is how I would call it. But anyways, yeah, he messaged me and just asked a few questions, and then just pretty much just been curious. And then he's been experimenting with it, and it kind of like made me rethink and relook at the archetype again, because like he was coming up with some stuff that I was like, oh, that's true, you could do that stuff, like when you could like for those of you that don't know what Crystron's do, they all pretty much, like all the tuners, like this guy, C3 and Ryan, they synchro during your opponent's turn. C3 synchros with a non-tuner from your graveyard, and then Ryan synchros with a banished non-tuner from your banish zone. And then so what C3 does, it synchros with it and it banishes it, and then Ryan, it brings it back and it puts it back into the deck. So that's really cool, because you could do like, because you know how with totaling or running totem, you banish a frog for to special running, and then you just put that frog back in your deck, and you just have an infinite amount of frogs, pretty much. Like, yeah, pretty much, because you can keep recycling Ryan. It goes back into the deck. So it's like really cool, and it's like its resilience and like the way it could come back due to its resources. Because like all the Crystron, all the little ones, the 3 and lower, or I mean, there's the 4-star guy, but I don't play that guy because he's not really needed. Like honestly, he's not, unless you like want to do like some sort of formula play or some sort of like you go Bahamut, like overlay 2 of them. If you play multiples Bahamut Shark and make Toad that way, if you don't play the paleo or the frog engine, you could take that route. But I think just the frogs just like swap, because they're all water, like they're all water, so it just works really well. Like look at this, do that, it's fucking crazy. like it's just insane. Like with that hand, oh man, that's because like barrier doesn't hurt you as much, because you can synchro on your turn, or you can just like preferably synchro on their turn, which makes it really cool, because like they can just waste a barrier for no reason. And plus, since you have the option to go into totally, if they call synchro, then you just make totally. If they call exceed, then you just make synchro. So it's like really cool. That type of thing I liked about this. And because it's more resilient, it's not really like, because like Dark Synchron, it's much more like it's a consistent aggressive first turn board. It's not really meant for the grind, is what I mean. It's just meant to set up a strong board, and if you go first, then it's pretty much damn impossible to break, unless they have like the multiple outs, which is, you need a very specific hand. Like I've always said, you need a specific hand, and very little times do they have that specific hand. So that's why that's just insane. So that approach is different to this build. This build is much more like it's full of sequences. You get to like go back and forth and outplay each other, which is like what I started with. Because like Black Wings was that way. You would like play the Icarus as a blowout, and then you just have warnings, and you had bottom misses, and then use them at a certain time, and it was just insane. Like that type of interaction is really fun. Like especially when it can go like I'm going up against like pretty much the best deck there, like that's out right now, and this is not seen as the best. Of course, it's pretty much paleo, except a good thing you'll notice is that it's the only expensive thing would just be the totalies, because I'm not playing barriers, I'm not playing strikes, and if you see, it's a 60 card deck, because I could not make up my mind. Because like at first when Yatin the buddy from Locals, he had his own build with ties and one of the steam synchron, the one it's synchron pretty much, and the synchron on their turn, and his build was a bit different because he plays a four frog engine, which is just the 3 swap and the 1 Ronin and just the 1 totally. Whereas in this build, like the only way I would play paleos, because like he was a big advocate of playing paleos in it, because he they're like really good, like the Karma Cut one, it's really good, and then the Book of Moon is really good too, and then you could use them as synchro materials during their turn to set up like a Trish play, which is like Trish is just really good on their turn. Like it's just really good, and especially since Crystron have their own Trish, it's like you're playing with 2 Trishes pretty much, except the Crystron Trish targets, so it's like so it's a bit like but still it's still good though. Like if you time it properly, and the good thing about it is that they don't miss timing. So I mean they kind of had to make it that way, otherwise this honestly, if they miss timing, this deck would suck. Like honestly, it just would be bad, because like you'd always have to anticipate it and do it prematurely, and like it's just so bad. Like if they dark hole you can't chain it and then resolve their effect. Whereas it is worded like that. You could, like, if they dark hole you can chain, and then once the dark hole resolves, then you can just banish whatever it is. That's freaking crazy. Like that's like one of the main reasons I like it, because that type of stuff is just it's a major, because it's unexpected and it's pretty decent. Like it's so resilient. Like all the grave effects, like it recover, like pretty much every single thing floats pretty much. Like the synchros that goes into, they float, and then the Sulfurnier, he floats, the golden level 5 guy. And oh man, it's just I've never, apart from Dark Synchron, I never really found another deck that really excited me more than this is right now. Like right now, this is the deck I've been using this past like nearly 2 weeks since I've been testing with Yatin. But yeah, like he pretty much reignited the spark of, oh, okay, take a second look, because it is actually pretty good if you play it properly. Because like there's a lot of intricate plays that you have to think, and it seems pretty straightforward. But once you actually know every single combo, then you have to get the task of incorporating it in an actual match, in an actual competitive gameplay, which is hard to do. Like, yeah, of course, anyone can know a combo, but it just depends on whether you can do it the most optimal way and still have some sort of resilience. Because like some people just do it and then they get interrupted and they don't know what to do. They don't know other routes, and then it just ends there. Whereas like you have to know all the plays, because there's some really insane plays that you can do that even now I'm still like trying to like figure out, because like I thought I knew the archetype pretty well, and I didn't. Like just when you like, okay, you know how like the Ryan brings out, like it brings it back, right? There's a way where you can keep that material Ryan brought back and synchro without it, and it'll stay on the field, and then you can use that for next turn somehow. It's just that type of stuff is pretty cool. And like there's like plays with Swap Frog where you use Sulfurnier, because you need to pitch a card to specialize. It's just insane. Like you saw in the previous, it's just, oh man, like it just makes it more. It's not as fragile as Dark Synchron is what I'm trying to say. But let me put deck list. All right, so here's the deck list. Okay, so for those of you that don't know what Crystron's do, they pretty much pop a face-up card you control. Like this one, which is the main one, like the whole reason the deck is playable because of this card. I mean, of course, it's just paleo as well, but like for Crystron archetype, it was so helpful. So pretty much the Sulfurnier, you can discard a Crystron card and special summon it from your hand or graveyard, and then pop a face-up card you control, and then special summon a Crystron from your deck, and then you can pretty much any of these guys. And the little ones, the purple, white, and green, like. The purple one, you can they can't special themselves though. That's the only bad thing, but it's still good. You can destroy a face-up card you control, and then special summon a tuner. They all do that. but they all have a different effect in the grave. Which the purple one, you can banish it and add a crystal monster, so you can add any of these. And then the white one, you can banish it and you can add a crystal spell trap, which is pretty much just this one. And then the green one, you can banish it and then special summon a crystal monster from your hand. That comes up a lot. Like at first it didn't seem like it would be, but like the more you play the deck and the more intricate you get with it, the more you like, oh damn, that is actually pretty useful. Like being able to special summon, it's insane. And then the tuners, Ryan, he synchros with your banished monsters, your banished non-tuners. So pretty much, and then you shuffle it back into the deck. So you bring back, let's say you banish Duke for Ronin, you can bring him back with Ryan, and then synchro into a 5, then shuffle it back into the deck, and then just keep recycling your frogs. But Citrus, he synchros with your grave, and then he banishes it. So pretty much this guy banishes it, and then this guy brings it back. So it's good synergy there. And then the frogs just pretty much to make totally. And then scrap recycler, because you want to just get to this guy as fast as you can, because this guy generates your advantage by floating to this one and then to this one. This is really, really good. And then the rest is like just pretty much preference. I felt like going second, I wanted board wipes, I wanted chalice, I wanted twister, because going second I didn't want to struggle. And then for if you go first, you have this option. I mean, ideally, right? That's how you would want it to work. The crystal impact. So pretty much what this one does is you can special summon a banished crystron, and then when it's in the graveyard, like let's say if your opponent tries to target one of your crystron monsters, you can just banish it and negate the effect. So it's really, really useful. And then breakthrough skill is just really good right now. I mean, in this deck, because you want to just prevent like Dryden pops or Dryden forces, like, or just stuff like it's a double card. It does two things, which is really good. And then the paleo cards, because it's like a small, well, it's pretty like a small paleo. That's pretty much the paleo engine. And then you play the karma cut and the book of moon. The only one I'm having second thoughts about is this one, because every time I have it, I wish it was like a disruption. So I think I'm gonna end up cutting these guys and putting like something else. And like keep in mind, you don't need barriers. Like, the only expensive thing is just the toads. But everything else, I think it's pretty manageable. I think it's doable. But that's pretty much it. Hope these are just cards are considered as well. If you have any questions, any suggestions, put them down in the comments down below. But go ahead and try it out. Let me know what you think, because I'm still working on it. I'm still gonna. I might end up just like going down to like closer to 40 or making 40. But I don't know. I'm liking 60 cards. I'm liking it so far. And that's pretty much gonna be it. Thanks for watching.